This is a place.
This is the place.
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm joined by a guy who is the world's okayest pickleball player, Nate.
That's right. Never underestimate an old fat man with the paddle.
Old fat man with long hair and beard.
As in the pickleball community, they call me Fat Jesus. So I got Fat Jesus, Fat Pete, I get Duck Dynasty. And twice now I've had Jason Momoa. Is that his name? Which is my favorite. Like, that's a compliment for me because I'm a poor man's version of Jason, if anything. But well, have you hopped on in these Black Friday sales yet?
No, I should. I need a new computer.
Can you believe like how early? Like, is Black Friday even a thing anymore? Because
a lot of places are even closed on Thanksgiving this year, which is, I think,
good.
Great.
Yeah, I did not like it when they started opening on Thanksgiving.
I get so much anxiety around this time of year because I feel like I need to go buy things with deals. Like I'm missing out on the deals, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's why I feel right now. Like every year it starts earlier and earlier. Where like I think Walmart right now and even Kohl's has started doing quote unquote Black Friday deals. I'm like, wait, hold on. You're not supposed to be doing them yet. You're supposed to get like your newspaper on Wednesday night, the Thanksgiving Eve. And then you go through the paper and look at all the ads and figure out what you want to buy. But now they're making you do it like for the whole month. And on top of that, have you listened to 99.5 this month at all?
Yeah, my wife is already full Christmas music.
Yeah, it's all, I turned it on Sunday and I thought, oh, maybe they're just doing this for Sunday, you know, because I don't know. But yeah, it's already Christmas music the day after Halloween. Too early? Or are you okay with it?
You do you.
Good point. I just feel bad for Thanksgiving. I think it's just slowly starting to shrink as far as the popularity goes.
I think you can have both because it's not like there's Thanksgiving music or festivities other than the big day itself. But for me, if I start too early, I get sick of it. And I don't want to get sick of it before the holiday. So that's why I hold off. I want to listen to Christmas music right now, but I know if I do it, it's just I'm going to be done with it by the 15th.
That's a good point. Yeah, I was, to be honest with you, listening to 99.5 the other day for a good half hour or so. And I was kind of amazed how some of the songs I was already sick of, and it just technically started because you just, like last year, it started earlier. And so I feel like I need more space between hearing these songs. So
let me share my Christmas playlist with you so you can get some different Christmas music to listen to that might mix it up for you.
Fair enough.
I think another problem is it's just not cold yet. I think, at least for you, the fact that it's still warm is a positive.
Well, it's a positive for me, but it's not so much a positive for our guest today. We had the opportunity to speak with Devan, who is one of the owners / founders of Club Pickleball USA. We got to talk to him about the club and pickleball. Well, Devan, thank you for taking some time to dink around with us today on our podcast.
You bet. Glad to do it.
Do you want to give us a quick bio of who you are? Like, obviously, it sounds like you didn't grow up. Did you grow up here in Utah, or?
Yeah, I did. I grew up in Sandy, Utah. And I mean, my bio is nothing spectacular. I'm Mr. Ordinary. You know, grew up in Sandy. I've worked in the real estate industry for like the last, 15 years or more. And have a wife and 3 kids. Oldest is 6 and youngest is about 4 months. So young little family, and currently live in Lehigh. And my, everyday career is in the mortgage industry. And then, like most people, pickleball is, just a passion and something that I'll say slightly addictive, and just a really good time. And so, have my little side business in that with my dad.
Great. Yeah. Definitely agree on the addictive part. I've never tried crack or anything like that, but I'm assuming it's pretty close. But can you explain to somebody like Brandon who hasn't really tried pickleball yet what pickleball is?
Yeah, so I think the fastest way to describe it, and there are a lot of people that will like draw correlations between it and tennis and things like that. I think the fastest way to describe it is imagine playing ping pong, but you're standing on the table. It's life-size ping pong with some slightly modified rules. And it's honestly, it's just the game is one I would say the thing that makes it most unique compared to anything else, that because I grew up playing sports. I played sports in high school. And there's a learning curve to everything. And pickleball probably has the shortest learning curve to where you could pick up a paddle and in like 10 minutes feel like you're not that bad at it. Like you're pretty good at it, and even though you may not be. And then just the age demographic piece of it that, from, I don't know, my nieces and nephews at 6 and 7, can hit the ball really well, all the way up to like my uncle Robin, who I swear is 90. He's probably only in his 70s, but really like any age, can play it and play it competitively. And so, yeah, I mean, pickleball is a hybrid of a bunch of paddle sports, but I think the closest correlation that I would draw is I have always imagined myself playing like ping pong, only it's life size.
What got you into pickleball? How did you first start playing?
So a buddy of mine at work, he actually had a pickleball, like a modified pickleball court at his house. And he just invited us over, like me and a couple of our other coworkers. He was like, dude, you guys got to try this out. And we had no idea what we were doing. We were breaking all kinds of rules. But it was just a good time. And we started playing like twice a week through the winter. And then, my dad had a sport court out in his backyard. And so I was like, dude, Dad, we should, like, let's just set this up. So we painted lines on his concrete, like nothing official, and started playing there all through kind of COVID in 2020. And that's just kind of where we, developed our passion, was just in the backyard at people's, at some friends' houses, my dad's house. And a couple of my cousins got into it. A couple of my buddies got into it. And then we played in our first tournament in like August of 2020.
So you're a COVID pickleball player as well, it sounds like.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I started in 2019, just a little bit before COVID, but yeah, where the real interest in like taking it serious, it was all 2020 for sure.
So that kind of rolls into my next question. Pickleball has been around, I believe, since 1965.
Yeah.
Way before my time. So why all of a sudden is it just blowing up? Do you think COVID has something to do with it?
Yeah, I think some of it might just be that, this is a sport that not very many people had ever heard of or known of. And I mean, like, I legitimately never heard of it until 2019, not because it didn't exist, but just because, I don't know, it wasn't really a thing. And there are still kind of today, there are no like really well-established like juniors programs. There are some starting up in Utah. And we have a junior academy at our club. But if you think about it, like most of what all of us grew up doing was, soccer, baseball, football, basketball. And it's because there were these youth leagues and it was integrated in the schools. The high schools have a program, and there are these national AAU type tournaments and things that, I don't know, just pickleball doesn't have that. And so from an adoption standpoint, I just think it's always been something that people weren't aware of. And yeah, probably under COVID, it's like there weren't a ton of options to go do something. And pickleball, for whatever reason, like kind of took off, particularly in Utah, where, you know, people had access to either an indoor church or to a park. And I don't know, it was like, I'd call it a little bit like something going viral on, you know, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. It's like one person, and then all of a sudden it's 10, and then all of a sudden it's 1,000. You know, now in Utah County, there are tens of thousands of pickleball players. And Salt Lake County, same thing. You know, I think it just got contagious. Somebody passed on an invite, and because the sport is so easy to learn, I think people just are drawn to it. And then there's more to it than just sport and competition.
Yeah. I guess we are in the like multi-level capital of the world. So you kind of might relate it to that, where you start playing and then you get two friends and they get two friends, and it's just snowballed from there.
Brandon, I've got a spot available in my downline if you want to get in, man.
Yeah. There you go. I've been trying.
I've
got my whiteboard out and I've done the presentation of Brandon a million times. He just won't sign up. So like I had seen pickleball the last few years, or even 3 or 4 years, just on the news stories. And most of the time when I saw the stories, it was down in St. George. It looked like a bunch of old people playing. You see him just barely hitting the ball over the net. And I'm like, this looks so boring. Like, I have no interest in it. And then COVID hit, and like you just said, there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, what else are you going to do? The other thing that's unique about pickleball is that I think there are things that translate over from a lot of other sports. So, like, I played soccer competitively through like 9th grade. I played basketball in high school. I grew up playing a little bit of tennis until about 8th grade. I was first team all neighborhood in football, right? Like, I played everything. But it seems like every sport that I played has some integration over to pickleball. And, you know, tennis maybe is the quickest for someone to like, oh, I have a tennis background, and all of a sudden in like, you know, a matter of weeks, they're a 4-5 or 5-0 in pickleball. But there are guys in Utah, you know, that are now playing at a pro level that have no tennis background. And a lot of things like footwork and just agility and balance in soccer, or some hand-eye coordination stuff with basketball or even football, baseball, you know, contact, racquetball. There's just, if you've done anything even slightly athletic, the take rate and like your speed to getting good at pickleball is really fast. And that's attractive for people. I mean, if Brandon wants to go play tennis and like get even remotely close to good at tennis, we're talking about thousands of dollars in lessons and hours, you know, at Sports Mall or wherever, in order to be able to hit like a top spin backhand and forehand and have a decent, you know, overhead serve. Pickleball is like, hey, 0-0-2, and I'm going to hit it and it'll land in. Here we go.
Plus, I feel like it's easier going to tennis. Analogy is me playing a little bit of tennis, just totally recreational. You're either getting your butt kicked or you're kicking somebody's butt. It's really hard to find a game where you're like, hey, we're kind of at the same level. We can give each other a workout. But pickleball, I feel like it's easier to find people at your own level. And even though you might get your butt kicked, you still feel like you can have a chance. You have a fighting chance of.
Sure. Yeah. And this is the other thing that I'd mention about pickleball is playing like competitive basketball or competitive soccer. It's like, if I play basketball with like regular guys that don't really understand the game and spacing and all of that, it's like not a really fun experience. Pickleball, dude, I have a great time playing pickleball with my nieces and nephews. And even when there is a gap in skill level, for some reason, this sport, it's like, it's still a good time. And we have, you know, people at my club who are, you know, 5-0 or 5-0 plus caliber players, and they're having a great time mixing in with, you know, the 3-5, 4-0 people that really truly can't hang with them, but it's still just fun.
Well, that's one thing. I'm a sports addict. I play I'm an average Joe in a lot of sports. Still to this day, like last night, I even had a hockey game. But one thing I really enjoy about pickleball is, like you just kind of mentioned, is the social aspect of it. Usually when you go play a sport, football, basketball, soccer, you naturally have like the person across from you is the enemy, and you kind of already have that resentment towards the other person, even though you don't even know anything about them. Where
Right.
pickleball, I don't feel like it is that way, because there's a good chance you might be playing with that person in just a couple minutes on your team. But I've really enjoyed the social aspect of it, and the friendships you can make from playing pickleball.
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest attractions of our club, which we haven't really, gotten to, and I'm maybe sure you have some questions for me on that, but is this social piece to it. I remember like my second tournament with my dad. We played a guy who in Utah County is reasonably well known. His name's Norm Chambers, and I've mentioned this to Norm. I now know him really well, but in my like second or third tournament, he was one of our opponents. And at the start of the match, hey guys, how's it going? Oh, this is good. What's your name? Okay, nice to meet you, Devan. Nice to meet you, Mike. Hey, good luck. And I'm like, my background is like, you're not my friend. Like,
Right.
I don't need your smile. I don't need your salutation. Like, good luck. I'm here to crush you.
This is a battlefield.
Yeah, it's a battlefield. And my instincts are like polar opposite of pickleball competitively. And I've told Norm this to this day. I'm like, dude, I did not like you that day because you were like the ultimate sportsman. Like he's just the nicest guy you'd ever meet. And I just could not. Mentally, I was like, why is this guy so nice? We're in a tournament. This isn't just like a rec match. And I don't know. There's just something a little bit different about pickleball where there is a competitive edge, but man, at the end, it's very social, positive. Like, hey, nice shot. And I don't know. It's like this weird hybrid of a competitive environment that ultimately, in the end, is like intended to be social and fun and friendly.
Yeah, I've done probably 12 plus tournaments this year so far, and there's only been one match where I was super upset, and you were there, Devan.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that a few months ago with me, my mixed partner.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
But luckily, and this can kind of tie into our next subject over at Club Pickleball, you guys have cameras, and you kind of showed me a few clips the next day of what happened. So that was nice to get a little bit of closure on it. But
right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt there are exceptions to the friendliness of the sport, but man, the social aspect of it is huge. Mental health is a big piece of it as well. Like, I've had a lot of people at my club that, I guess even physical health, you maybe have seen here locally, like on some of our Facebook groups, guys and gals posting about, hey, I started playing pickleball a year and a half ago and I've lost 30 pounds or I've lost 60 pounds. And,
that's me.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, people just getting more healthy physically and then mentally. I know that there are like veterans and other folks that play at our club where pickleball is this, therapy and, it's almost medicinal in some ways. And I think that has a lot to do with just the endorphins that people experience, a high that they experience when they hit a great shot or when they win a match or win a point. And then also just those endorphins that you experience when you make connections with people and find friends and, I don't know, network with people. There's a lot to this sport that you can't find in almost like a lot of other sports that I've played. The community feel to it is unlike any other.
Yeah, I had a friend that I kind of got into pickleball a little bit that kind of said the same thing, that he was in a kind of a bad place when I invited him to come play, and it's kind of pulled him out of that hole that he was in. So I was like, oh, I had no idea. I just had no idea. So,
right.
Well, let's talk about this club that you started that you mentioned a few times.
Yeah. Club Pickleball USA. We're a 40,000 square foot facility with 15 indoor courts in Orem, Utah, and one of the first of its kind. We are I guess there's one that opened up in Kansas City. So I want to be totally honest here. When I started, we were the largest indoor pickleball facility in the country. And about 30 days ago, there's one group in Missouri that now has 18 indoor courts. So kudos to them. I think what's unique about us is that we are dedicated pickleball. There are a few other clubs across the country that have started pickleball, indoor pickleball, but it's food and beer and, just entertainment. We are 100% pickleball. And anyway, my dad and I started it just actually about this time last year. So, it's November 11th today, and we played in our first tournament in August of 2020. And the experience at the tournament was awesome, but it was also disappointing in that we just felt like the venue could have been better. And, the temporary nets and the temporary lines that are mixed with other lines on the court from tennis. And we just kind of looked at each other. We're like, wow, this tournament is off the charts from a attraction and energy and number of people that are here. But from an experience standpoint, this sport deserves better, could do better. And we were just there might be an opportunity here. Let's go explore it. And so, I turned into the spreadsheet millionaire overnight, right? In Excel, trying to make numbers work and saying, okay, here's what we might be able to do. And what if we did this? And by November 23rd, it was the week of Thanksgiving, we had signed on this 40,000 square foot facility, and, we were open 45 days later, and kind of haven't looked back. And, we didn't pioneer outer space or anything like that, but we definitely were working from scratch and didn't have anything else to really go off of. We weren't Burger King replicating what McDonald's did. So, a little bit of a high risk venture, but it's paid off and people are having a great time and loving it. We're less than a year in, and we've had over 9,000 unique players come through our club. We have over 4,500 of them that are actually what I would call club players. They have either they have a profile and club membership within our court reserve app. It's how we manage all of our court reservations and events. And then of that 4,500, over 400 of them, so just about 10% of them, are diamond members of the club, which is kind of our highest membership tier. And anyway, the response from the community has been awesome, and we're just grateful to be involved. My dad and I have a really good time with it.
Especially, I think it's great that there's so many, like you say, that just kind of ragtag. You put it in a church gym or you set it up on a tennis court. Having that dedicated space, especially with an indoor facility, you can play it year round without any problem.
I mean, name another industry or business where your competition is free. Start a restaurant, your competition is outside of somebody growing their own fruit trees and vegetables and chickens in their backyard, and even that has a cost, but my competition is free. The park, the church, somebody's backyard, somebody's indoor gym, the rec center that's subsidized by everybody's tax dollars, right? So yeah, the club had to deliver on kind of, I call it three things, but I'll maybe speak specifically to two of them. We wanted to have a place that had the accommodations of a club, which is it's indoor, it's climate controlled, it's outdoor courts, outdoor surfacing, which is really significant in pickleball because the player experience is very enhanced compared to playing on wood floors. So the accommodations had to be, top notch. And And then affordability was like absolutely critical, because if I delivered the accommodations and the experience, but it was really expensive, people, pickleball players would just say, and some of them are right now saying, no, hey, you can pound sand. I'm not interested. This isn't something I'm willing to pay for. But as it stands right now, I'm $10 for a 3-hour experience. And if, and this is to like, as a non-member to my club, a full like visitor off the street, you have no membership with me, $10 for a 3-hour playing experience. If you're on a private like court reservation with another member and you're not a member, you're talking about $12 for 2 hours, for dedicated play. And I don't know of many other things: bowling, laser tag, golf, batting cages, even miniature golf. Like, there aren't many things that you can do for 2 hours at 10 or $12. Right. And so we were able to come in, we were super aggressive on negotiating the space that we got. And anyway, I feel like we've been able to somewhat manage this affordability aspect of it, because one of the appeals of pickleball, and Nate, this may go back to why did this thing take off so quickly? Well, you can spend $50 on Amazon for a paddle and a bunch of balls, and you're in business. Like, go to the park, rock and roll, right? Like, right. This isn't go spend $1,000 on clubs and then, $80 on green fees and a cart fee. Like, you can.
And then you're pissed off for 2 hours while you play golf, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, affordability, accommodations, access was like my third A, which is just location. We are right off the freeway. So I have members in Salt Lake that commute, but the commute is no problem, because once you get off the freeway, you don't even have to get to a light to get to my facility. It's like you're immediately there. There's no 10 minutes east or 10 minutes west. So anyway, those are just some, kind of important features and factors to us, having a chance at being successful, and it's paid off.
So why Utah County and not Salt Lake, Devan?
Oh, man. Well, Salt Lake is on its way. So we are negotiating now on what I would call our third space in Salt Lake. Salt Lake is a tough nut to crack. And the reason for Utah County, primarily, is that per capita, there are more pickleball players from a density standpoint. There's a higher concentration of pickleball players statistically in Utah County than there is in any other county in the country. And then you add on to that, the cost of the real estate is significantly different in Utah County versus Salt Lake County. So from a risk perspective, it's just more risky, more money to go make that same play in Salt Lake County. So for us, it was a little bit of like risk tolerance, but also strategy from a, per capita density of players.
That's where the players are, the majority.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of players in Salt Lake County. Don't get me wrong. There's probably more in Salt Lake County just because of population. But yeah, and the space worked out. 2 major universities that are within 5 minutes of our facility was a big plus for us. And then ultimately, just from a full transparency standpoint, if you go into Salt Lake right now and you try to pencil out the numbers in an Excel sheet and just pretend that you're going to get money, coming in the door for your business to like stay in business, the numbers are just a lot scarier. And on top of that, when you go, either sign a lease or build somewhere, in the case of a lease, pickleball is new. And so a landlord doesn't just say, oh, wow, like this is really innovative. Like, can't believe you guys came up with this idea. This is fantastic. Let's go. They say, I'm really nervous about this. I don't know that this business model exists anywhere else. And so if we're going to lease to you, we need what's called a personal guarantee, a PG, which basically says, regardless of what happens with your business, you will pay us. And a PG on a space that we need, you know, for the size that we need, you're talking about 600 grand a year or more in a personal guarantee. And so how many people want to take a risk on a pickleball club, you know, with that much on the line? I don't know. I'm almost, you know, we're close to getting it done right now, and are super hopeful that we can open here before winter really hits. Because Salt Lake, no doubt, is starving for a facility, and I think we're going to pull it off.
And even as passionate as you are about it, there's still numbers in the end, and it's got to make sense. So
yeah,
hopefully that all pans out, and
it's not a charity, right?
Yeah, and I mean, this goes out to all of my, you know, online critics and Google reviews that say I'm too expensive, or you know, I can't believe anybody would pay that, or, you know, this is free. Why would anybody do? And it's like, at the end of the day, we're a business. Businesses have to be profitable and make money to stay in business. I have payroll, you know, and I'm not subsidized by tax dollars like the rec center. And so, yeah, I mean, these are real things. And, you know, I have a wife and 3 kids, and I'm, you know, bills to pay. Like, I have a regular job, thankfully, that, you know, pays really well. But, yeah, I mean, nobody wants to go into a venture and invest a bunch of capital and take a bunch of risk and lose. So that's the hesitancy on what has been I think the stumbling block for most people on Salt Lake.
But it's possible it's coming soon, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, if I get so right now our agreement and offer is in the hands of who, you know, is on, I guess it's on the other side of the court. You know, I've hit my serve or return. It's up to them whether they're going to drive or hit a third shot drop.
Hopefully you don't go in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. And I know my numbers really well. I know how it pencils out. And so I know where we need to land. And if the numbers come through the way that they need to, like, I'll sign tomorrow. And you know, similar to Utah County, 45 days, like, give me a month and a half and we'll be ready to rock. So, you know, I'd love to do something similar to what I did last year and be open early January.
Well, I will cross my fingers, say prayers, whatever is needed to help that cause.
Man, so yeah, you know, keep us in mind. And then just having 2 clubs, really, they can complement each other. We can create some inter-club competition. And, you know, we have some membership offerings with our Diamond that would allow for dual membership, you know, crossover between both clubs. And anyway, there's just a lot of possibilities and opportunities there.
Great. Well, is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you need to let us know of, or did we hit it all?
No, I mean, if you haven't tried pickleball, I would give it a shot. And, you know, if you're thinking of starting a club, good luck. Cause yeah, man, it's been a journey. My dad and I are super grateful. The community's been really supportive, and Utah has probably one of the most, like, I don't know, social, like, close-knit pickleball communities in the entire country. And, you know, we just feel super grateful to be involved and have a business, you know, call it a side hustle or a side gig to what my dad and I do professionally each day, and have it be something that we really enjoy, and we get to, you know, go and participate and play at the club and get to know everybody. And my life is enriched by it. And, you know, I think a lot of other people are enjoying it. So we're grateful to be a part of it. Pickleball, a lot of people think this might be a fad, but if you're in it and you see the energy and all of the momentum behind it, it's here to stay. And, you know, we feel like we're set up, kind of poised for a lot of growth that's still yet to happen in the sport.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere. So,
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Devan, for taking time out of your busy day. Sounds like you basically have 2 full-time jobs, if not 2.5 full-time jobs.
Yeah, my wife wonders at times if we're still married and if I'm still the father of our children, but I am. And, you know, I'm no different than anybody else. We all have, responsibilities and things that occupy our day. And I'm grateful to have a supportive family, and my kids are learning a lot from this. My daughter loves to do pretend business. Like I'll go to the club late in the afternoon or something like that on a Saturday or Sunday, and she'll come along with me, and she sits at the front desk and pretends like she's checking people in. And it's like there's so many benefits here that I feel like my kids and that will learn from it. And anyway, it's been a good time. I appreciate you guys, giving me the opportunity to kind of share our story. And Club Pickleball USA, it's clubpickleballusa.com. We're on Instagram, also at Club Pickleball USA, and give us a follow. Come check out the club.
So Brandon, did Devan convince you to get into pickleball?
I am convinced.
Well, we tried to get you guys to come play
I should
a
have
year
listened.
and a half ago, so you guys didn't listen. So one thing I want to bring up about Club Pickleball, which is really cool, we didn't bring up with Devan, is probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, got invited to go play with Devan on his championship court. I guess they call it court number 1. And they've got 2 courts right now that have these TV screens. There's a screen on each side on a pillar.
Like for instant replay?
No, yes, kind of, but no, it doesn't show a video of you playing. So to me, it kind of looks either like the Top Golf screen or a bowling screen, because it has your score and who the players are. And so there's those little boxes behind the ends of the courts next to the fence. And when your team gets a side out or a point, you go and hit a button, and then the computer will put on the screen what the score is and whose turn is it to serve.
Oh,
so
cool.
It kind of keeps track of the score, and anybody just walking up to watch you play can see what the score is, and it tracks your stats. And then a really cool feature talking about watching yourself play is that if you think that you did a really cool shot or something you want to play back, there's another button you can push, and it will capture a video of that last play you had. So when you go home and you log into your account, it will have all the stats from your games that you played, and then any video highlights that you told it to record. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
We should have asked him a few questions about that, but maybe we'll have him back on once he has the grand opening for the Salt Lake courts, and we can talk about that system. So it's a really cool little gadget that they just installed.
So what level player are you now?
I would put myself at a solid 4.0 player, moving up towards the 4.5 level. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the rating system, but it usually starts about 2.5 and goes up in half increments. So you go 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, and 4.5. So I've won my fair share of 3.0, 3.5 tournaments, and won a couple 4.0 tournaments, and then getting to the point where I'm ready to start participating in 4.5s. And then 5.0 is basically your professional level that the top dogs play 5.0. So we'll see if I can get to that point. But my biggest thing is, number one, is the exercise. The best thing I like about pickleball is that you can play for three hours straight and not feel super exhausted. Like if you were to play basketball or football or volleyball, like that, you'd want to fall over. Pickleball, you can get to that point, but you don't feel like it's as strenuous as the other sports, even though you are getting a good workout. And number two, outside of the workout factor, I love the social aspect of it. It's just like Devan kind of mentioned, just getting to know new people. You don't seem to be super upset about the people if they beat you or you beat them. Me and one of my mixed partner, my female partner, we played in a tournament a few months ago. And that one had a bunch of 4 or 5 players in, and we took bronze in that one, but our bronze medal match was super intense. We had a bunch of people watching. Even the guy who put on the event said that's one of the best bronze medal matches he's ever seen. So you would think after we came back and barely won that one, that the other team would be kind of upset, and not want to talk to us. But they came up to us and said, "Hey, we're from St. George. Give us your number, and if you're ever down there, hit us up." So even though they just lost. They were still good sports about it, and obviously wanted to play again.
Well, as Devin mentioned, check out the Club Pickleball USA website. Check them out on Instagram and go down to Utah County. Go check out their facility down there. Hey, if there's, let them know how interested we are to have it in Salt Lake County, and maybe that'll help push the needle on it.
Hopefully, just cross my fingers. I mean, I would love to be a member of Club Pickleball, and I do go down there and I just pay the guest fee. But it's from where we both live. It's a trek to get down there because we have to go pretty far east to get to the freeway. Once you're on the freeway, it's fine as long as there's no accidents. But it'd be a haul to get there. It is a haul to get down there and to play for us. So
there's a nice big empty building pretty close to us. I think you should go there.
That's the thing. There's a lot of nice empty buildings in the valley.
But like the Kmart building.
Yes, that would be
really close
for us. Yes. So Devin, if you're listening, go to the Kmart at 54th and Bangerter, and I guarantee I'll sign up for one of your memberships. Guaranteed.
Oh, I definitely would sign up as well.
So there's 2 memberships that would pay for the rent, right?
That's how it works. Let us know if you play pickleball, if you're up for playing pickleball, since I'm brand new. If you want to play with me, I'm a beginner. I've played one time before, and we can meet up and play. Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week.